Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Soldier. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Okay.
5, 4,
How is our Genji main playing soldier going to execute here? Walking off the high ground, there's a close holding Sigma, keeping them honest.
Let's get this done. Payload secure.
Taking high ground, but before our team is transitioned. You're basically trying to 1v3 this. Yeah, so we actually want our peak timing to be when our team is threatening. And Fair at least is a little bit threatening for us now. Hog isn't really threatening. These guys aren't really threatening. Let's see if things get better. At least Fair is dragging the Discord for us. Do you hear that? You do hear that. That's good. It's an okay heal station. It's not amazing. It's okay because it gives him area where he can use the heal station while he has a sightline on the opponent, or he can get benefit out of that same heal station while he's protected behind cover. So it's an okay heal station. I'm just not convinced that he wants to plant himself here, which is why I don't love it. Because now his heal station is gone or here for the next 14 seconds. And that means he can't use it in a spot where he can do more work. And I'm not convinced that blue isn't going to pretty immediately retreat from this, or retreat to a level where this sightline isn't an offensive sightline anymore. Nice. That was well done. We went with our rocket on the target that wasn't moving to start, and then we followed up with and then we went for our shots. Works out well. Good. Why are you going back this way? Go take the flank. Go out here. Take a quick peek to make sure that's safe, and then go like this, because it's likely that there's still an opponent, like this soldier, in here, and your team is going to push this way, and you want to have this cross angle so that you threaten all of this space, while your team gets to threaten all of this space, and your ability to then threaten space over here that your team, like space over here is good. You want that crossfire like that. That helps out. Okay, back to our Genji main. Please don't stand on cart. Thank you.
enemy seen.
I'm a man on
Go
a mission.
left, go left, go left. I do not need you on cart. Your cart only gets speed upgrades for 3 people on it, and they're not that important of upgrades. You can go over here. You can go over here and threaten from here. You'll have high ground. You'd be willing to plant here. You can then peek over here and take shots if they start to line up, hit scan, or poke people up there. This is where you would have liked to transition to.
The payload has reached.
You know better than to show your face around here, Mako.
I read you. Form up on the payload. Move it out.
You'd be up here. You'd have gotten the jump on this McCree. Once you took out this McCree, you'd transition to here. You'd be, filling them with lead from up here while your team was pushing here. It would be great. It would be great. You can break his shield. That's fine. Okay. Okay, I'm good with this.
Anyone need some healing?
Again, I don't really like that health station.
Tactical visor.
Here you are. I get it. You went down to 100 health for a second, so you got scared,
Tactical visor.
and you decided, oh, I'm flashed, and I need to heal station. And I do get that. I do understand that. The truth is you're right in the middle of your team, and you have plenty of health right now, so you don't actually need to pop this, and the McCree that flashed you has already been eliminated. And my problem is
Anyone
now
need
you've
some
dropped your
healing?
heal station here, and that gives you a lot less ability to sustain your off angles, your flanks, any of that type of stuff. A lot less ability to sustain it. So your health station it's not quite an all in, but it's close to an all in for you. And now you've all in to playing with core, and that's you. We don't want to play with core. If we're playing with core, we're not taking advantage of our sprint, and we're not really taking advantage of our healing station either. Interesting. Not the target selection I'd have gone with.
I'm impressed.
Hello.
Okay. Can we now please stop playing on card?
The payload
Can
has
we please stop playing on card? Are we gonna go take top right? Top right?
Welcome to the scrapyard.
Let's keep it moving.
Top right. Top right. Top right. This does not count as an off angle if your Reinhardt is wanted over here. Oh, you just had to be led up here. Okay, I'm good with that. We had to lead you up here, but now we've done it, and now you're going to take advantage of it. Fine. I'd have liked this healing station to be a little deeper. So I want this healing station to be a little deeper so that you have the ability to stand aggressively out here and do work, but also the ability to stand here and get healed. And if your healing station is a little further forward, you still get both of those things.
Let them up.
How good do you think this soldier is right now? I mean, they're telling me that they're they're telling me that they're a silver soldier, and it's possible that they are trolling me, but their aim doesn't lead me to believe that they are wildly better with that than that. Their aim isn't like particularly good or anything. Oh, how good? Got it. Got it. Okay. Got it. How good do I think Soldier in general, not this player? Oh, that's a good question. He's sort of being eclipsed by the fact that McCree is just a better hit scan right now. He's always had problems where unless he's tuned for very high damage, he just sort of gets his job done better by other people. But he's usually a pretty safe pick on ladder. And he's a relatively safe pick on ladder because he can get value done. I don't think he's great. I've seen times when he's much stronger on both ladder and in organized plays. But I've also seen times where he's a bit of a throw pick. So I'd put him mid-tier, a little below mid-tier, mostly due to the fact that all of his jobs are done better, but in no way is it a throw to pick him. I think he's okay right now. Yeah, kind of just right.
Good choice.
I think that's always going to be true of his design, though, Blah. Unless they change Soldier's design, he's either going to be, someone can do anything you'd want to do with him better, or he's going to be, they've tuned his damage so high that he just, chunks people down hard, etc., and that's not amazing.
rocket barrage incoming.
That's not you. Come here, get stabilized.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Damn it.
Why are you wandering this far from your cover? Why are you standing in the middle of open? 21 ammo reload is unfortunate. Yes, I understand trans was going, but you could have checked this way before you hit this reload. Fortunately, soldier's reload isn't too punishing. Okay, that soldier's shootable. You better not get caught in this. Barely.
I've got you in my sights.
Flip through it. You're gonna now have to take out the Reaper immediately because you're discorded and he's snipes Reaper. What? What? No.
I've got you in my sights.
Immediately. You immediately have to force Wraith out of this. To have even a chance of surviving now that you've activated Attack Visor back here, you have to force Wraith out of him immediately. Immediately. You like mouse to look at him and then you go over here and shoot at the supports. Are you thinking like he's going to get me no matter what, so I'll try to get some eliminations in exchange? That's not how end of maps work when you're the attacking team. You can't go, oh, I'll trade out for 1 or 2 and that'll be fine. That's not going to work the overwhelming majority of the time when you're the attacking team. Their respawns are too close. You have to do things that preserve your own life. You have to win methodically. You have to go, I'm going to slowly get eliminations and I'm going to survive type thing. Or you can quickly get eliminations as long as you survive. But I would rather you survive than get eliminations. And you're just like, you look right at the soldier, you don't take shots, you turn and start shooting at the Ana. And now it's a foregone conclusion that this Reaper is going to eliminate you. You're discorded. You knew you were discorded. Maybe you were thinking if you peeked here, you'd get the Zen rather than the Ana first, and that would let you remove the discord from yourself. But I promise you that was still wrong. You needed to shoot at the Reaper and force Wraith. Dynamite and flashbang. Funny.
Mission ain't over yet. Group up.
And a shield. And maybe some exo boots too. He can shift to run, but he can also just vertically jump.
Over here. Group up with me. Acknowledged. Understood. My ultimate is charging.
I don't know, guys. I think his bullets also need to bounce like Sigma's.
Why are we stopped? Get the lead out and move this payload. Fall in here. Reaching up.
Okay. You're gonna shoot at the face there. Playing Ring Around the Rosie with Reaper. Why are you looking at the ground? Didn't hit enough shots on Ana there. This is over. Reset.
I read you.
Физкульт, привет.
Hey.
Ana checking in.
Excuse me, fool. Anyone else? Today. Move the payload.
You hear this? You hear that? Okay. You won for you. Why'd you drop? Shipping him was great, but why'd you drop? Now you're with your team and your damage is gonna be awkward. That's what happens. Again, you need to clean this up methodically. You don't want to put yourself in risks in the middle of the point. You didn't want to drop with your team there. You guys
Knock
had the
me
cleanup
down and
here,
I'll
but
keep
you
getting back up.
threw it away. You guys were up like 6v2, and instead of slowly cleaning it up, you went into the open there, and then Reaper was able to get you.
I've got you in my sight.
But your angle sucks.
Let them up.
Double, triple, quadruple kill.
Okay, so you don't like your off angles enough. You do play with your team too much. We saw an example of that on third when you dropped from your high ground to go with your team chasing the Winston that you didn't need to do. You were perfectly fine to let your team fight the Winston in there, and you'd still be above and be able to shoot the Winston if you left the other side, or shoot the rest of his team, which would have been much preferable. And then we saw a ton of that on first and second, where you were just like, no, I'm going to be with my team. I'm going to go with my team instead of taking these off angles. That's going to help you the most. You need to take off angles, and you need to take them consistently on Soldier. That is what your sprint is for, and your heal station is to help you sustain those off angles. I would like your heal stations to be a little bit deeper so that you can get more value with them, because once you commit that heal station, if they leave, you're stuck and you just don't have heal station. And remember, if you're off angling, your team isn't really with you, so you would like to have that heal station to sustain. Well, okay, I guess we'll watch some Bastion. So those are two things that I want you to work on. Take off angles more consistently, and set up your heal stations so that they can be used more aggressively, and don't heal station on the cart. Like, that's in your kit, but it's a pretty rare use in your kit. Yeah, Reaper is a bit of his nemesis, but that's a positioning mistake. He's too often with his team, pushing forward, etc., instead of on that off angle.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. I recommend moving to stop the payload.
What are you doing? You're gonna have to wait for a fresh shield to do this, or you're gonna have to stand behind your Orisa. Too slow. What are you doing? I didn't hate what you were doing, which was, hey, I'm gonna go over here and drop in turret mode, or I'm gonna go over here and in turret mode try to clean something up, but you've just wasted time with some back and forth running. Okay, bye. Yeah, when you drop in the middle of a lane that is the lane that they're gonna look down, you get blown up.
We're all
Back to our soldier.
My servants never die.
I've got you in my sights.
That's fine.
Get out of my way.
It's over. It's over.
Group up
Don't
with
do it.
me.
Don't bother. Go back here to take the back high grounds.
Payload has reached
Good. No. What? What? No. No. You've committed yourself to a position before the opponents have decided where the fight is going to happen. You put your thing in a bad spot. Like, ew. Ew. Go over here. And then once you're ready, you'd end up committing your, what do you call it, like here, your heal station like here, so you can stand here and do work and get healing anywhere that you stand out here, or so that if you're feeling low in health, you can hide on the stairs and get healed. That's how you do it, and your timing and positioning were both wrong with that heal station. You think that was a missed input? Yeah, I hope so.
Enemy contact.
Patched up. Get over here and heal up.
I still didn't really want you to pop that heal station either. Like, yeah, you're playing from here, but there wasn't a reason for you to drop your heal station and commit, because sure enough, you've left your heal station and you're now over here. Like, if you don't need to drop your heal station, don't. Yeah, not sure why you backed away from that quite so hard. You could have kept doing damage to him. He's gonna really struggle to catch you. Bubble is nice. Reinhardt should have been eliminated ages ago. Just walk forward and melee him. Good. You gonna take your high ground now?
Thank you.
I still wanted the seal station to be a little bit deeper. Like another step forward so that it covered this area. They, you know, you needed it health-wise, but a step deeper would have been cool.
Enemy contact.
High ground? Where are we taking high ground?
Good choice.
Okay. Your Mercy's healing you, but okay. I really think you're going to want this heal station once they've pushed in a little bit more so you can visor them from behind. Oh boy. Watch that. That's fun. He's coming back from a respawn. He's not. I don't really love that roll. I did like earlier when he was mixing in a crouch step every third or fourth step.
Walk it off.
The Mercy sees him. There are no comms because the Junkrat turns around too slowly for the Mercy to be calling anything.
Drop.
That was fun. Okay. Cool. Cool.
The war goes on. I need healing.
We're taking the high ground.
My servants.
You gonna leave or touch point? No, no, this was not an option. You couldn't visor. You couldn't visor there. You didn't have anyone anchoring point. It was 0.26 meters from capping. Like, you just can't. And you haven't really had a great visor yet. I'm not going to pretend that visor's the best ult in the game, but you haven't had a particularly good one. You did better on this before. Those heroes aren't looking at you. If those heroes aren't looking at you, you sometimes do want to open with your rocket first, because it's going to be a little more consistent. But okay. Trying to hit your rocket once they're aware and paying attention to you can be harder. In a duel, you use your rocket at the end, yes, but if they're not paying attention to you, you frequently want to open with your rocket. Okay. Can we shoot the soldier instead? Instead of the nanoed armored Reinhardt, can we shoot the soldier?
My ultimate is ready.
Don't want
Nice.
to war with me.
You still didn't need to drop. You know she has no tools. Good.
I salute you.
My healing
Retake high
spells
ground. Retake high ground. Retake high ground. Retake high ground. You don't know your way around the map.
Join me.
For future reference, this will take you up to high ground. This is what you were looking for. Or, if you're in here, because you went in here for a bit, you can go through here and then up here to get up to high ground. Those are your routes up to high ground right now.
Fall back.
Oh, there's our reviewee. One of your biggest issues, I have no idea when to visor, so I just try to pop it sometimes, just so I don't hold it the whole game. Right. Okay. We'll talk about visors more generally. Nope. Bye. You can't expect that challenge to work. It's unfortunate, but at this short range, especially after you've already used your Helix, you actually needed to surrender this unless you're sure a teammate is taking the fight with you. So if you knew that your Ana was hard pocketing you like this, maybe you feel comfortable taking this fight, but generally you're just going to have to surrender this on a very narrow space like this where you can't outrange his flash at all. If you round a corner, you round a call into a flash fan from him, and that's just unhappy. So yes, I generally want you on high ground, but given that you used your rocket, didn't get the elimination here, you either needed to stay away from him until you had it back, and then you're still in a disadvantaged fight, or you needed to just leave the high ground and go, hey, I'm going to challenge you from over here type thing. Maybe from over here type thing. Not that this is great.
Good choice.
Okay. Please don't do this. Please stop trying to challenge McCree's at close range. Please stop running into McCree's to try to challenge them at close range. They are a better hero than you at that range. He's not, but conceptually, it is. Unless you know he doesn't have flash, or you know he's already spent shots and therefore won't be able to flash fan you, it's not your friend.
It had to be done.
It's fine.
The battle continues.
Now would be a perfectly fine visor. And the reason now would be a perfectly fine visor is this team wants to push. It's not amazing, but this team wants to push. They've popped their own nano, and that they popped their own nano, okay, it's not an amazing visor, but you got the cues to tell you that it should be a pretty good visor, even without looking. You can see multiple of them. You have a good cross angle over them compared to your team. It's a relatively balanced fight, and they've committed an ult, so they think this is real. They're not going to want to disengage from this fight because they've already committed an ult. Now, your team isn't as close to their team or vice versa as I'd like for generally popping an ult, but this would generally be the okay type time. A better time would be when your teams are closer, and it's going to be even harder for this team to disengage. If you visor here, these guys are going to try to hard disengage, you might get some value, but that they just invested the nano is a Q. If you hit an ult right now, it'd be like a 6 out of 10 visor. We can definitely get better. We can definitely have our team closer, more ready to follow up when we actually do it, but because you were asking about visor, here's a time that wouldn't be awful. Let's see if we can get better. Yeah.
60 seconds.
If we'd survived, could have been even better.
My
Mission ain't over yet.
And again, if they decide to kite your visor while they have their own nano visor going, that's a win. Let me go check when you're talking about Nordstrom. Too far back. I don't want to go back that far.
60 seconds remaining.
Mission ain't
Yeah,
over
you can take a
yet.
moment, especially if you have health, you can take a moment to throw your Helix rocket and a couple shots at a high nooning McCree. If you're missing any health, you generally aren't going to bother. And if you don't have Helix, it's generally not going to work, but hey, maybe someone else will also shoot.
30 seconds. Round 2 complete.
See what our round 3 is going to look like.
Ready for battle. Attackers
You don't have to.
incoming
If
in
you have no
30
idea where the
seconds.
McCree is, you can stay behind cover. I mean, if you have full health, you can peek for a moment, because remember, he's not charging his high noon on you unless he can see you, but you can't spend very long trying to find him, of course. Right, the goal is to survive.
5, 4,
Value your own life is generally good advice.
1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Just press the I need healing button. X, default. Gonna flank? Gonna flank? Flank, 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 flank. This is so painful. This was fine. If you just pressed the X button, Mercy probably would have turned and healed you. And then you'd have continued to be shooting from here, while your team was shooting from here, and that would have been preferable. Since you dropped here to come get your healing, etc., you wanted to think about, this sucks, I'm playing with my team, I don't like that. Is there a window for me to use my boots, use my legs, run through here, and do some work from back here? You know, pre-line up on the Ana who isn't looking, my Helix rocket, hit the direct Helix rocket, follow up with damage, that's an elimination. McCree turns and chases me, no problem, I shift and run back, and then I'm with my team again. Like, that's how you wanted to think about this. Why are you in front of your team as Soldier? You're in front of your team and not on an off angle.
30 seconds remaining.
You're anchoring yourself to this position. But why would you do that? Why? If you want health, might I recommend sprinting through here, grabbing the health pack, coming up here, and then playing from this different angle? Or this different angle? Might I suggest that instead? Yeah, I'm not going to let go of this off-angle thing. Just in case you thought I was. You gotta do it. It's not optional with Soldier.
Let them up.
10 seconds remaining. Double
This is where we are. Okay. Okay, I'll live. You don't need to be making this as exciting as it is. You guys have way more people than them. Please don't compromise your positioning.
I can do this. Eyes closed.
round 3 complete. Score
No, Nordstrom. No, he is not.
ready for battle.
The number of battlefields.
Okay.
Ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right. It is definitely harder to aim when you're in the middle like that as opposed to on your off angles.
Regen up.
Using Winston as your shield, fine. Oh, and now you're going over here, okay. Are we going on a secret mission? You don't have to go back. You know their comp well enough. Yeah, you know their comp well enough. They don't have any flankers. You can drop here if you want, and then walk your way up here, and then go here and make them laugh. And it'll be great, and they'll never catch you. Okay.
There can be immortality field.
What? Please don't be here. Okay. You've committed to this spot, which I can live with, but you've got to have that Bastion looking at someone else before you shoot at him. You can't peek when the Bastion's looking in this direction. You need your Winston in. You need your Junkrat doing something from a different angle than you.
Heal up here.
Payload is approaching its destination.
Okay. Please don't be here. Bastion elimination, good. Please don't be standing here. You are not a cart pusher. Walk through the shield. Play from in here. Okay, that's a win.
Activate.
Barrier up.
Okay. Things were... let's get a different screen. Fine. Things we're generally going to talk about on Soldier. If your team is playing from here, you could play on an off angle. If your team is playing from here, you could play on an off angle. If your team is playing from here, you could play on an off angle. We're looking for you to not just chill on cart and get in these like barrier battles, we shoot as team versus team at each other. You're doing a better job on third, but on most of this map, you've been doing way too much hanging out with your team. And you can't do that. You have sprint, you have a heal station. Those are both designed to allow you to take high off angles quickly and to potentially hold them with your heal station. Your visor also works much better when used from off angles. So we need you much more consistently thinking about, hey, is there an off angle I should go get? Much more consistently. Like when you're missing health, you could go, oh, I could heal station. Wait a second. I could also sprint over here and get this health back and go do that. So let's like set that in your mind as a little flag for a reminder of, hey, if I take damage and I'm with my team, let me path through a hell station to an off angle. But really, just in general, if I'm with my team, I should feel kind of uncomfortable. I want to be on an off angle. If I wanted to just like get a bunch of value with my team, well, this wouldn't be the hero to play. That's not how it works. So please think harder about those off angles. Think about taking them. They help great because they compromise the opponent's cover. They compromise the opponent's movement patterns. They let you threaten more space. It means that when enemies are paying attention to your team, they're not paying attention to you. Damage that is meant for your team doesn't accidentally hit you. If they turn and look at you, you just go, yeah, I have a heal station to survive with, or I can hide behind cover. And if 5 sets of eyeballs are staring at me, well, my team is staring at them. My team is going to win, and I don't even have to do anything. I just hide behind cover until there are not 5, 4, 3 sets of eyeballs staring at me, and then I peek and do work again. It's much easier to get eliminations, as I'm sure you've noticed, on people who aren't paying attention to you. If that Ana is there, for example, and looking at your team, it is very easy before she's aware of you to go Helix Rocket, immediately move Crosshair up, finish her with a couple headshots, and it's easy. It's much easier than having to duel her when she's looking at you. So these off angles really do matter. We talked about your heal station. That's the next thing I want you to work on, where I want your heal stations to more beat for you to sustain these off angles, and I want you to put them in positions where they can give you offensive support as well as still heal you in a place where you could totally hide from the fight behind cover, etc. And then we're going to talk about visors. Your visors will naturally be stronger if they're from these off angles, and you're looking to use your visors when the team fight is committed to happening, when your front lines have met, when you and the other team both have aggressive off angles, when the other team has dove or when your team has dove. When some event has really said this fight is happening and it is going to be expensive for the team that I am using Visor against to retreat from this fight. It's going to cost them lives, it's going to cost them a ton of health, it's going to cost them a ton of resources, it's going to cost them their own ult. You want it to be expensive because that's sort of your signal of now I can do it because it's probably going to work out. Again, your front lines being pretty much on top of each other or already fighting each other can be a signal that the fight has started. A bunch of divers being in can be a signal that the fight has started. Ults being used can be a signal that the fight has started, because then if they just zone your ult, they're zoning their own ult, be it Beat, be it Nanovisor, etc. Or the hardest to recognize is when both teams have taken really aggressive angles. If you're playing like snipers or double poke versus each other, sometimes it can be hard to recognize when fights have started because the fight has started. It's actually in a late phase. If like Widow is threatening here, Hanzo is threatening here, Hog is threatening here, because they don't get close to each other in poke v poke the same way that you'd see. But if you see really aggressive angles for one or both teams, the fight might have already started. So those are sort of what you're thinking about for when to use your Visor. And you want to use it when the fight has started, but when it's still like a 6v6, 5v5 type scenario. Early in the fight, so towards the beginning of the fight, but when the fight has been committed to. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please ask questions in chat. For the rest of you, if you have questions, throw them up now. If you are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as I really do appreciate that quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Okay. Temporal, you should do a Symmetra review. I'd be happy to do a Symmetra review. Grape says hello. Ashton says hi. Cool, cool. You guys are having a conversation. Cool, cool. Yes, that makes sense from our soldier player. Excellent. I am happy to hear it. Then I think with that, are there any heroes you might suggest to me that would seem to fit my playstyle? I think you can play soldier. I just think you adjust to take more off angles. Like, McCree is less punishing to taking less off angles, sort of because he's slower to take off angles, which sort of leads to this situation where you can sort of get away with taking off angles less often, but he still really likes his off angles. He just doesn't get quite as many opportunities to take them, and his kit is balanced around him not getting quite as many opportunities to take them. But I would just say, I'm going to say no, there is no one that lets you really just play with the team consistently, because Overwatch is kind of a game of which team has more extreme and more angles in most scenarios. There's matchups where that's not true, but in most matchups, that's what Overwatch is about. So there isn't really someone that just gets to stand with the tank line and do work. And you weren't constantly doing that. You were sometimes doing that, but you did sometimes take those angles. So just do more of that. I'm not going to suggest a different hero to you. I'm going to say, hey, you can keep working on Soldier. That's fine. Reaper and May can play with core more often. Yeah, they can. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. How am I doing, Grape? I'm doing just fine. Thank you. Yes, I very much recommend, Ashton, that you figure out a couple things that you want to improve on. Maybe you figure out a dozen things you want to improve on. Maybe you figure out 3, maybe you figure out 2, and then you sort of focus on one thing at a time. You go, there is one thing I want to improve on, and I am focusing on improving this thing, and it is taking up like 10, 15% of my brain power while I am playing a match to be thinking about working on that one thing. It could be off angling, for example. And then you're going to do that for 5 games, for 15 games, for 30 games, for a day, for 2 days, for 2 weeks. I don't care. However long it takes you individually to really iron that into your reflex, to your automatic play, to your autopilot, whatever. And then once you feel that is ironed in, then you move on to the second thing. And if that 90% sticks, you're good. But if that starts dropping off more than 10% when you've moved on to focusing on the next thing, drop the next thing that you were working on and go back to working on the first thing for a bit more, until when you move on to the second thing again, you find that first thing really has stuck and is not getting worse. That's what I recommend you do. So having a checklist is fine, but I would not have more than 2 focuses at a time. 3 focuses is too many. Like, you're not actually going to be focusing on it, or it's going to be pulling away too much of your resource, brain power, etc. for playing the game. Doomfist reviews. I don't think I have any Doomfist reviews on the channel actually. I don't know why, but I don't see very many requests for Doomfist reviews. I'm happy to do Doomfist reviews. I'm happy to do Symmetra reviews. I'm happy to do Junkrat reviews. I'm happy to do Torb reviews. I think I have all of those heroes except Doomfist that I've done reviews on the channel, but I don't get very many for those heroes. Okay, cool. I am going to probably take a break, do some other stuff, but I will be back with either uploads or streaming later. It's Friday. I'll probably get some streaming done this evening. I'll have uploads too, but I'll probably get some streaming done this evening. So hope to see you all later. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.